Hey guys, hope you're keeping well. So I recently sat down with Matt Mitchell of Matt Mitchell and the Coldhearts to talk about his upcoming album Mission, the singles that he's released so far. Just so the title track Mission and Come On, Come On. The people he's got with on the album, recording the album during lockdown, plans for the future, including some live dates and everything else he's got set out for the remainder of this year. You can catch up with everything that Matt and I had to say right now. And we're joined by Master Matt Mitchell. How are you keeping, buddy?
Very well. How are you?
Yeah, all good, man, all good. So obviously, recently you announced that you're the Kickstarter campaign as well, pre-orders and everything for your new album with Matt Mitchell and Coldhearts for Mission, which is out July 29th. The singles that you've released off it so far, Come On, Come On, and obviously the title track. It's man, I can't wait to hear the rest of this album.
Hey, brilliant.
Dude, bud.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm doing it with under the Earache Records umbrella. It's kind of like a bit of a bespoke distribution thing that I've organized with those guys. It's brilliant, actually. It seems to work really well, and I'm going with their idea. They suggested putting out a bunch of singles first, and having a campaign run this way, which I think is brilliant, actually. It gets the insight for people to actually like have a real look in to see, have a good. Sorry, I'm mobile here, so I'm actually trying to see what's going on here. Yeah, it's a real good thing. So 2 singles are out already, as you said, Mission and Come On, Come On. There is another 3 to come out before the album.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm really, so basically, as you might have seen so far, it's 1 a month.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's and of course, it's the thing, if you pre-order the album, you get the singles straight away. So if someone was new to the record right now, they'd come in and pre-order the album, they get the 2 singles straight away, which is all cool. So and same with a bit like how it works with Apple iTunes and stuff like that. So yeah, really excited to put more out. I've been so excited to do this. Yeah.
When's the next single out there, man?
The next single is going to be out on the 27th of this month. It's called Razor Tongue.
Oh, nice. I like the title.
And it's a real rocker. Yeah, it's a real rocker, this one. And it features a couple of an old friend of mine. When I say old friend of mine, and someone else as well. A couple of rockers that everyone's going to know, basically. So it's got a couple of real great features on this
nice,
song.
Man.
But yeah, I'll keep that surprise for when it drops.
Oh, man, well, tell people to keep their eyes out there, mate. It gives them something to be excited about, doesn't it, at the end of the day?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a cool one, man. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm sort of, as I go, it's one of those things where I'm just sort of feeling my way through it with this one, which is really cool, and sort of enjoying the process with these things, because it's so fast moving. You never really stop and sort of, look out the window and go, hey, what's actually going on here? You're just like flying with it. And so this time I'm actually just really trying to enjoy it and think, right, who likes it? Who wants to hear it? Let's go.
That's cool, man. So when you were recording it, was it a different sort of process to recording, like from your predecessors in certain terms of albums, or?
Yeah, I think because of the whole COVID lockdown thing, man, it was like one of those things where, the demo process was the demo process actually at home was way more intense this time, because normally what I would have done is I would have got stuff together and then just got the band into a room straight away, and then gone through it there. Whereas this time, the demos, I'd never heard the demo sounding so good. You know what I mean? It was that sort of thing where everything was worked out. All the pre-production was worked out. So as soon as we got into a room when we could, it became no one was kind of like messing around with parts and stuff. All the parts were written, everything was in place. And as soon as we could, we went into the studio, recorded the drums and bass. And it was different this time because a lot of vocals and guitars, all done remotely in different places. Some guitars were done in America with the co-producer. A lot of guitars were done by myself, like 70% of the guitars. Can't believe that, you know. Now it was a real nice thing for me. Normally I'll play guitar and then say, okay, you do it, you know. I'll give the job to someone else. I'm not really fussy like that. But this time round, it just turned out that my parts just worked. So it was just like, yeah, okay, let's keep those. Yeah, the other guitarist as well, he actually had to go back. He was living in London and he had to go back to Sardinia throughout the lockdown, which he is still there now. So then recording for him was a bit different as well. He ended up sending a load of stuff over. He still features on the record. There's some amazing solo. You'll hear the amazing soloing of Mauro on Come On, Come On.
Oh, cool. How about that's his solo, is it?
What's that?
That's his solo, is it?
Yeah, that's him. So I play the solo on Mission actually, and he plays the solo. There's different there's different everyone gets a different sort of go on this album, you know, including like the feature guitarist on this next song as well.
You're teasing again, mate. You're teasing again.
Yeah, so that's really cool, you know. I'm loving that stuff, you know. But yeah, as I was going to say, sorry about this. I'm actually mobile, so I'm in the wagon here because I had to come away from the resort where I was because there was absolutely no Wi-Fi. So here we go.
Oh, bless you.
Give it up for 4G. This is working well, you know.
Appreciate you making the effort, mate.
No, it's great. It's great.
No, man. So do you think, like, because you were recording differently because of all the restrictions, do you think that sort of fed into the vibe of the album as such?
I do actually. I think there's definitely an energy in the drums on this one, because Matt Cherry, who plays the drums, he had loads of time to think about what he was doing and what he wanted to do on this one. Whereas on the first record, on the first record, of course, he put loads of thought and time into it. But with this one, I feel like the drums are really raging. The parts are very precise on this. Yeah, it's great, man. I'm super excited to get it out. It's great.
That's the thing, when you get a good foundation in terms of your drumming, that sets off the whole, it sets off that trajectory for the rest of the album, really, doesn't it?
It really does. Yeah. I mean, he's as you'll hear, you know, he's a real driving force on this record, you know. It's a different bass player, actually. There's a kind of the Coldhearts, if you've looked into it or anything that I've talked about with it before, it's the whole thing is a bit of it's kind of like a solo effort, really, so to speak. But I always love the band thing, so it's I couldn't just call it a Matt Mitchell album because I just felt that was a bit too much, you know. But yeah, the Coldhearts is pretty much a pool of a collective of players, you know. And there's a different bass player on this record to what there was on the first one. A guy called Giulio Grancelli, who's also fantastic. And the drums and bass on this record are just great, strong, you know.
Even from the two singles, they seem to be a bit more they were never in the background on the first record, but they seem to be a bit more forward and driving on those two singles that I've heard.
Yeah, it's a different production, this one, you know. It's a bit more, how can I say, the last production was a cleaner production, should I say. This is, dare I say it, a bit more rock and roll.
Yeah.
The first album was very eclectic, I'd say. And although there was a couple of rockers on there, it was very eclectic and had maybe like a laid back production, should I say. Which was cool, you know, and which was what I wanted to do. So yeah, this one is a bit more of a rocker. There's a few more surprises on this one, you know, and some heavier tunes.
Is that where you wanted to go with it, and more heavy, more rocker, and compared to the last one that was, like you say, was a pretty eclectic album? You had some more acousticy songs on the last record as well, and
yeah,
records and bluegrass and places.
You know what? I mean, I love the heavy stuff, and I've always loved the heavy stuff, and I love heavy bands, you know, and stuff like that, and grungy sounds, and I've always loved that stuff. And with this, it was more about what was coming out, and what I just fancied doing, really. Yeah, it wasn't sort of, I didn't think to myself, right, I'm gonna make sure I do this, like what I probably would do if I was to pull out another Furion album or something.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, that definitely would be that, you know. So yeah, just different vibe, really. Yeah, you're here. I'll send you an album when I can, you know.
Oh, it'd be great to hear, man. It really would. You know, that's why I wanted to get you on and talk about it. You know, obviously.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. Yeah.
No worries. I mean, you know, Black Diamond was the first single I heard, and I sort of was, as soon as my ears got picked up by that, and then first time I saw you live was supporting Hollistar when I went to see Hollistar down in Cambridge, and you were.
Oh yeah, that was a good night. That was a great night.
That was a great night. Yeah, it was a really good line. It was with you and Florence Black and Hollister, wasn't it? So.
Yeah, great bands. They are great bands.
Yeah. So speaking of live shows, obviously, you've just been saying sort of off air that you're on the road at the moment doing sort of solo shows and gigging generally. But have you got any plans lined up already to go out and support the record?
Yes, I'm in talks with about some shows right now for the end of the year, which I'm just getting sorted out. I'd really love to go and do some of my own shows. I mean, the talks that I'm doing at the moment, there's talks about me going out and as a support.
Okay.
But with not as a 3-band build, as a 2-band build thing. That sounds very exciting. Again, I won't mention who or when, but it's sort of like later on in the back end of the year. That sounds very good, but I'm really looking into doing my own shows as well, a leg throughout the UK and a leg in Europe as well.
Oh, sweet.
There's one show that's been booked in Belgium already for October the 2nd, which is like a small blues festival, and I'm hoping just to book everything around then. Because really, even if they were small venues, you know, it would be exciting, and I'd just love to go out and actually put a set together that's longer than half an hour, you know.
get people like the full show.
Exactly. You know, I'd just love to go out and go, right, here we go, here's an hour and 20 minutes of, you know, or an hour or more of music, and have a great night. Yeah,
sounds good, man. Have you got any festivals lined up for the summer or anything like that, other than the one in Belgium you just mentioned? Or
only that. I was actually, the last one that was meant to happen was Hard Rock Hell, which unfortunately the new wave of Hard Rock Hell, which happened just a month and a half, 2 months ago or something like that. Our drummer got COVID like 2 days before playing, and it was that situation. We were so excited about playing, and that was the last thing. But no, for this year it's just that one in Belgium, and then some shows. But like I said, some shows to be announced pretty soon, really. Just getting sort of some stuff sort of finalized and sorted out. Can't wait to get out and play some more shows.
I bet, Dave. Is there any songs from the album that you're particularly looking forward to playing live, or is it just a case of wanting to get out there at the minute?
Mission, for one, is a great live sounding track. There's another song on the record as well, called It's Only Rock and Roll After All, and nice. I'm looking forward to playing that as well, because that's like a heavier track, which is going to come across really well. Yeah,
nice one. So you got any sort of plans in terms for the next follow-up already, or are you just focusing on this release at the moment?
Totally just focusing on this release. I have got some ideas to release something that might actually be in between another Matt Mitchell and the Coldhearts album, which would actually probably just be some kind of acoustic, piano acoustic record. And again, maybe, with a couple of tunes on. So something that would be acoustic versions of everything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. For people that got the special edition of the first album, there was a couple of acoustic versions on that.
And yeah, I've got, that's the one version I've got. So
Yeah. I mean, so it would be pretty much like that, I suppose. But that would be when I say, that would be like an in-between, sort of thing, really. So that's the only thing that's in mind and in the works at the moment, I'd say.
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have that sort of, set on the site for a bit later down the line as such.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there's always talks of other things. It's like, because I've got other bands that have been on ice, so to speak, for a while, there's always that thing where people are saying, right, so we're going to do another album of this, and we're going to do another album of this. It's like, yeah, like when the time's right, or when we feel we can do it,
Yeah, cool.
So everything's busy, so lots of music, and like I said, I'm out playing all the time at the moment, but more just acoustic shows, bread and butter shows. And although I love it, I enjoy it all, so I love getting out and playing.
So I was always interested to know, man, what was the the lightning strike moment for you when growing up? What was the moment that you wanted to start singing? Was there any sort of band that kicked it all off that made you want to start singing and writing?
Absolutely. I mean, it was a very young. I was very young when I started thinking to myself, I want to do that, and literally, there was two things I wanted to do when I was a kid. One was play music, do music, and the other one was drive big trucks. So I got to do one, and I've still yet got to do the other. Although, funnily enough, I recently, well, actually not recently, it's happening very soon. I was given a gift a long time ago, one of those things where you can go and actually drive big Arctics and stuff around. It was like and I'm so looking forward to it. It's I can't wait. So that'll be the
second part of your childhood dream, really.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. But the other time was, my dad would play Zeppelin, Moody Blues,
nice,
and stuff like that downstairs of a night time, and I would just be literally upstairs, eyes closed, thinking to myself, wow, and just pretending I was playing a concert somewhere, and I must have been 5 or 6, I don't know, 5, 6, so that sort of age. And that's when it started. That's when it really kicked in. And I used to think to myself, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. But it didn't really start until I was in my teen years, really. When I was a kid, it all seemed very, buying a guitar or especially if you wanted to play the drums or something like that, it all seemed very expensive when I was a kid. I remember asking my mum, Mum, can I have a guitar? And she was just like, the look on her face was literally just like, where am I going to get a guitar? Where am I? Because like nowadays, of course, these things you can get them kind of pretty much everywhere, or you go to Argos and there'd be a guitar that's pretty much in an affordable price. When I was a kid, I think it was a case of you might find one in a jumble sale or something. You know what I mean? It was like it was that kind of thing. But it wasn't until I got into my teens and me and my friends and stuff, and everyone was starting to get into playing and stuff. I bought a guitar off of my friend who became the guitarist in my band. His dad sold me a guitar for not a lot of money, you know, and started playing. We started making bands, and I started singing, writing songs. Yeah, and never looked back from that. You know, just carried on. Went to college, did music at college, and just totally, totally fell in love with the whole music plan. You know,
it's a magical time though, isn't it? When you first start playing and you first jamming with people. And I remember I was sort of similar age. I mean, I was like my dad. He was, I remember being similar age to you probably. And I remember, and I didn't know what I'm a bass player, but I didn't know what a bass guitar was. I just knew I liked that deeper, more
you like the sound,
guitar that was going on. I was like, what's that? And I mean, I remember peeling. I was only about 7, and I was flicking through his vinyl one day, and I pulled out the album for Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and I was just like, "What's this?" And Dad's like, "We'll put that on, mate." And I just sat there and just like headphones on, and my mum's sort of going, "What are you letting him listen to that for?" And he's like, "He's fine."
Brilliant.
But yeah, I mean, I picked up. I mean, my mate Max, when we were, he was the one who was playing guitar from probably about 10 or 11. And we were sort of the weird loner kids because we like Guns N' Roses and Metallica and Sabbath and Aerosmith, and everybody else was like listening to Backstreet Boys or some crap like that. To go hang out in the music room because it was really just sort of me and him against the rest of the school. And there was an old sort of Fender Precision in the corner, and he's like, just pick that up and we'll just play. I'll teach you some stuff. Brilliant. And I must have been playing this beaten up Fender Precision for about a year before I finally managed to convince my parents, like, this isn't a fad. This is what I want to do. And like you say, like when you have those first few jams and we start writing, it just sets you off. And again, that stays with you forever. There's nothing better than it.
Absolutely, man. Are you still playing? Are you still playing? You still have it?
Not as much as I am. I still play. I still write. I've not done the band thing for a while. I kind of fell more into the sort of promotions and that kind of thing.
Of course, yeah.
And that's that's what I realized. I've come to. Don't wrong. I still write. I've still got some friends and we'll meet up and have a jam or whatever. But between my 9 to 5, Just Push Play has become my real passion music wise because I get to discover all these cool acts, and obviously it's all in aid of my dad and stuff. So yeah, that's sort of where I see it.
That's fantastic. That is, that's a real achievement. That as we were saying.
No, thanks, man.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant, man. It really is a good achievement. It's great that you get to still play, as well, like you said, and meet up and have a jam and stuff like that.
It was something that I kind of neglected for a little bit because like letting things get in the way, I suppose, while I was doing other things. And then when stuck in lockdown and stuck in the house, and I was just like, you know what, I am going to take this time and snap the rust off my fingers and start playing again. And it took me a while to get my rhythms back, but once I got it back, I was like, why did I stop picking this up as much as I did? And
did you get the blisters on your fingers?
I did get the blisters again, why did I let my fingers go soft? And so no, it's just a bit of fun now. But like I say, don't think music ever leaves you when it hits you that hard.
I don't think it does. No, I know. It's what it is, and I feel very lucky that I'm out playing, and I managed to play a lot for a living, which is fantastic, and the big thing as well is being able to put original music out as well. That's just an incredible thing to be able to do, to whatever level, I'd say, and these days, it's one of those things where it's something that a lot of people can do, people can put something together and release it way easier than it used to be. And that's amazing as well. So, I can't really ever see myself sort of stopping releasing music as well, which is just because I like doing it.
Yeah, well, that's where it should come from, man. At the end of the day, it should come from yourself first.
Yeah, and I agree. I totally agree. That's what I mean. It's funny, sometimes, especially if you do different acts or different things, and or try doing something different, it doesn't always particularly work, because people think, well, actually, I don't really like what you're doing now. I liked what you were doing back 10 years ago or 5 years ago. You know, why don't you do that again? Or, you know, or the other way around, you know, you find a new a crowd of people, or it's the same crowd of people that are just still with you.
Yeah.
Either way, you know, it's nice to put it out and yeah, see where it goes, you know. It's yeah, it's good. It sort of feels like a good art form, you know.
And I don't think you ever lose that. I mean, even from the other side of the coin, I don't think I've ever lost that sort of, you know, teenage excitement of discovering new music and new bands. There's nothing more exciting than me than, you know, either a favorite act of mine releases a new song, or I'm lucky enough because I get sent stuff for the radio show, obviously. And
Yeah.
you know, some bands will send in demos and stuff across, which is always great to hear. And you get that little diamond in the rough that comes through, and you're like, wow, where are these guys been hiding? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember I tweeted something. I mean, it's probably about a year ago now. I just remember going on a drive. I was driving home from a gig or something like that, and I was listening to some music. It might have even been the radio. You know, I really like listening to radio too. Not Radio 2, but Radio 2. Yeah. Although I do like listening to Radio 2 sometimes as well. Yeah, and different stations. And I think something came on and I was just like, man, this is a banger of a tune. And just getting that feeling again. And I remember tweeting something saying, wow, you know, the power of music. You know, I know it sounds so cliche, but and exactly like what you're saying, the power of music sometimes yeah, sometimes is a real strong thing, and that's great, isn't it? You know, and like what you were saying, just as well, like those days when you'd be out with your friends and you'd be out in a you know, in a rock club or something like that, and a tune would come on, and it's like, you know, and everyone's on the floor, you know, and it's a band. That all of that stuff is fantastic.
Yeah, it's that stuff doesn't leave. I remember a friend of mine got married a couple of years ago, and once the kiddies had gone away for the evening, shall we say, and we could put on what we liked, he basically listed put a playlist up of all the songs that used to be going on in this rock bar that we used to go to when we were all at uni together in Norwich, and he just made a big old playlist, and it was like all stuff from those days. And like immediately we're all sort of like, you know, in our mid-30s now, and where everyone's sort of like all suited and booted, being all nice at their wedding, and then certain songs were coming on and everybody's just going, right. Everyone being back to being like 19 again. It was great.
Yeah, back to that place. It's like, yeah, I love it. Yeah, all good stuff. Yeah, brilliant, man.
That's cool, man. Right, dude, platform's yours. What would you say to anyone's listening who's heard the singles, like what they're hearing, but has yet to pre-order the album?
Yeah, well, I'd say go to the site, earache.com/Matt Mitchell. Check out what's on offer. There's a lot of different bundles there. I mean, of course, you can just pick up the CD. You can even just pick up the download, you know. There's a lot there. There's some good T-shirts with some good new Mission artwork on them. The bundles are quite good. I'm also selling the old CD in one of the bundles as well. But the real cool thing there is the transparent blue vinyl. It's limited edition basically, and they're going. So it's just one of those things where I keep saying to people, go and secure, if you're going to go and get something, go and secure that, because before that point that, you know, hopefully, possibly, you know, that it will be a case of, oh no, you can't get it now, you can't pre-order it because they've all been pre-ordered. So yeah, that's what I'd say. If you're liking the tunes, you know, because I'm aware that, you know, with bands, you can, everyone can just go, well, I'm going to get the music anyway. I'll just go and listen to it, or I'll wait for it to come out. I'll listen to it on this, I'll listen to it on that. But yeah, to have it in a physical form is always pretty cool. And the support is always just second to none. And it never goes amiss, you know. Go and check it all out. Yeah, at the site. Yeah, at the Earache web store.
Brilliant, man. Matt, been great to talk to you, dude. Just
thanks for having me on the show, dude.
No, pleasure's mine, man. Just one more thing before you go, buddy. I'm going to play Mission at the beginning of the interview. But what song of yours would you like us to play at the end of the interview?
It's going to have to be the new single then.
Cool.
It's going to have to be Come On, Come On. Yeah. Or Black Diamonds.
or both.
Or both. Yeah, go on, fit both in. Do you know what, Lee? That sounds like a really good plan.
All right, bud. Thanks for chatting to us, man.
Cheers, Lee.
Cheers, mate.